esta competición la han forzado sin acordarlo con las ligas y daña mucho al ecosistema del fútbol mundial, pero más del fútbol europeo. Estamos viendo que ahora equipos que se quejan que no tienen tiempo para el descanso y la pretemporada, equipos que se quejan también de los jugadores muy cansados cuando han venido aquí.
El Real Madrid llegando a semifinales se va a llevar casi 100 millones, esos 86 millones. ¿Cómo tiene eso un impacto en la competitividad? Pues tiene mucho, es una de las quejas también que tenemos que plantear, ¿no? Porque hay que pensar que estos clubes luego vienen a competir en las competiciones nacionales, ¿no? Y claro, cada vez tenemos más competiciones donde se reparte mucho dinero solo a una serie de clubes. Los otros que están en esas competiciones, pues se hace un gap, una diferencia importante y se pierde competitividad. Eso sin duda es un dato objetivo, no hace falta ser muy listo, ¿no?
LALIGA President Javier Tebas not happy with the Club World Cup, saying that it's not fair on the clubs not competing. It gives a financial advantage to the likes of Real Madrid. Don't Real Madrid just have a financial advantage anyway in life? Isn't that just the way of the world without this competition?
Probably. And it's been crystal clear, I heard Augie talking the other day about how Chelsea getting to to the final is paying for some of the transfers. And that's all fine, which tells you everything. I'm not going to go down this road of sledgehammering this competition today because I'm sort of fed up of it. But it's kind of telling you that it is just about the money. It's about how we can pay for transfers, how we can pay for it. So it's been too much about that for me. And the other side of it is what's kind of made me giggle a little bit. And nothing against Real Madrid, but they made it crystal clear from day one that this was just a big competition for them. This was going to be something that they would hang their season on because they won nothing last year, deservedly so. And yet here they were coming, giving it all guns blazing and got battered. Kind of tells you where their priorities are, really.
Well, that's kind of epitomised by the way, of course, it was covered after their thrashing from PSG. It was an absolute shellacking from start to finish. 4-0, of course, to the European champions. It could have been a lot more. And as you mentioned, Craig, this is a competition that Real Madrid put on a pedestal to a point where, of course, they delayed Jude Bellingham getting surgery on his shoulder. He's going to be out now for the start of the season. Yes, they've made some money from it, but it has not been a successful month, has it, for Madrid?
No, they haven't played well. They've had the odd foray in games. They played decent against Dortmund, particularly for 45 minutes early, but that's Dortmund. But the players that needed surgery, and we all know about this, the first thing I would have been doing at the end of the season was, when can I have this done so that I can start my rehabilitation as soon as possible so that when the pre-season starts, I'm ready. So when the season starts, I'm ready to go with my new manager. Real Madrid have got it back to front.
Is there any argument to say at least Xabi Alonso knows his team better now than he would have done with just pre-season training? Given the competitive edge to this tournament, he now knows exactly what he needs to do over the next few weeks before the start of the season, which may be a sort of insight he wouldn't have had if this didn't exist.
But then he would have had, because he's going to play pre-season games.
Right.
And he's going to play pre-season games. As much as Real Madrid are visible, he can figure things out during pre-season.
So he didn't need
to
work it out?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. He'll have seen more of these players and Real Madrid players and Real Madrid the way they played and who played where on videos that had he had a pre-season to work with them, he would have figured it out there and then. He's been hamstrung by this big time because now one of his key players in Bellingham isn't going to be there. So, no, there's
while games are going on, you can't work the players, you can't do all the training, you can't do all the tactical stuff you want to do.
It. You can't, for example,
you can in pre-season.
You have pre-season, you have little pre-season games where the first team plays the reserves. You get it going and you stop it whenever you need to stop it, and then you walk through it and you tell everybody what you should have done, what you shouldn't do. You can't do that when you're playing games.
How concerning is it that as much as Xabi Alonso has been given this opportunity because he's what he did at Bayer Leverkusen, that it seems he was so tactically naive going into the game against PSG, given that he started Vinicius Jr., Garcia and Bellingham all up front together?
So again...
And Mbappe as well, sorry.
Aye. So again, he's using this to try and figure some things out. You know, he said after the game that I made a mistake by not filling the middle of the park.
But, Stevie,
at the same time...
Stevie, you've seen enough of PSG over the last 12 months to know that you didn't need that formation to be tested, that you knew it wasn't going to work.
Right, and that ties into what you just asked me 2 seconds ago. When you're Real Madrid, you're playing in this tournament, the guys up the stair have told you already, the fact that Bellingham's not getting an operation is that they want to win this. And so all they're thinking about is winning. They want the money, they want the prestige of winning the first ever Club World Cup. And so Alonso is trying to win games and also try to figure some stuff out as well. So you can't have it always.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, he's doing both.
But putting out that starting 11...
Yeah, that was the concern.
It was going to lose. So if he's desperately trying to win, why is he putting out such a vulnerable?
Well, because then now he knows that he doesn't have the players to do that.
If I was sat with you when that starting 11 came out, you went, nah.
We talked about it before the game, or a couple of days before the game. Is it going to be Garcia? Is it going to be Mbappe? It's only going to be one of them. Is Mbappe going to be fit enough? And it looked as though he said, well, I've got to fit them both in the team. Gonzalo Garcia scored 5 goals and I want Mbappe to play. And he put out a formation that he probably didn't think that was the right formation just to appease the 2 players, which is a worrying thing when you're manager of Real Madrid.
That's the whole argument here. Why did he do what he did? Are you trying to tell me that Xabi Alonso is so tactically naive that it never crossed his mind that they might get outplayed in the middle?
But,
he obviously had... If he's trying to figure things out and see how players react and all kinds of different things that we're talking about here, because he's just walked into the building, I mean, you can't...
But you were saying he had to win the game. The Real Madrid people higher up are saying he's got to win the game. So if you have to win the game, you pick a side to win the game, not to try things out.
But he knew he was
getting... where we started about Dan's question. Sorry, we're back to where we started with Dan saying, well, surely it's better to find out stuff here, playing in games, than it is just pre-season training.
Yeah, but he didn't need to play the best team in Europe to find out that this Real Madrid side are not the best team in Europe. He knew he was getting this. He pretty much knew he was getting this job quite some time ago, right? We all sort of worst kept secret in the business. And as Robbo said, every weekend he would have watched, his teams on video, and he would have watched Real Madrid, and he would have watched Barcelona because he knew he was going to Spain. So he would have known what he was getting. The worry is, he thought he could go with an almost similar formation to the best team by far in Europe. And, OK, he would have learned, if he shouldn't have already known, which he should have done, that he couldn't do that. It might have been quite nice for him to show something a little bit different, show a different...
The biggest worry...
He did not.
The biggest worry was what Thibaut Courtois said after the game.
About the pressing.
He said, we went with a game plan and the players did not carry out the game plan. Now, that's a worry, because if the manager's saying, this is what we want to do, and I presume he was talking because he was saying we weren't pressing the ball from the front, he's talking about the front players, you've got a problem.
And again, to back to the argument, right? That absolutely 100% is why Real Madrid will never be able to play the way PSG do if they've got Vinny and Mbappe up front.
Right.
But again, we don't know if certain players in the wide areas were supposed to tuck in at certain times. So again, I just don't believe that Alonso is that tactically naive to think that, not that they were going to get overrun, but the fact that we all just looked at it and went, well, there's only 2 guys in the middle. I think players didn't do their jobs in terms of...
Because originally, at the start of the game, he had Vinicius Junior one side and Mbappe... And he was going to play Gonzalo Garcia as the sort of full centre forward. So when they lost the ball, he was going to go and get on the deepest midfield player of PSG. But when, say, they went 2-0 down, he changed all that. And the 2 goals they did concede were 2 mistakes to start with. Yeah. But once he changed it all, then they were all over the place. And he had to, every water break, he's trying to get his information across. And you can see the players, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment.
You know, to go back to Bellingham quickly, you know what would get me with Bellingham is, I don't know if he was forced into going to this tournament or not because of the prestige that Real Madrid hold it in, or whether he was quite happy to go along with it. But I'd be slightly concerned if I was him, and I'll tell you why. He's not undroppable. I mean, he was for 7 months of his first season. Couldn't do anything wrong. Nothing. But when those goals dry up, as they did last year, and okay, you might say Ancelotti was tinkering and couldn't find a good place for him and couldn't get him in the number 10, and he was by far not the only one that underperformed, but he underperformed. Big time. He's a big time signing. If his form continues post-operation and Alonso has figured out something in the short term that's getting him to a result, he does not walk back into the team.
That's a big call, by the way.
What is?
He's not undroppable.
He's not. If you watched La Liga every week last year, he was not good.
When he was in England and when he played for the England team at the last World Cup, he was a central midfield player. A very, very good one. He was good on the ball. He could break things up. He'd break forward when it was the right time. He went to Real Madrid, and because of the situation, he ended up as one of the centre forwards, or withdrawn centre. He starts scoring goals. Now they think, oh well, that's what he is. He's an attacking midfield player, almost a centre forward who gets on the end of things. He has to go back to being a midfield player, where you have to do both sides of the job, and that's been my criticism of him all season. He still thinks, I can make forward runs and then I'll jog back. And when the ball gets passed around me, I can stand there and have a look and have a moan at somebody else. If you're a midfield player, you have to work hard, you have to do both sides of the job, and you have to be alert when you lose possession. He didn't do that for much of the season, and that was in his head.
Robbo, he went
I think that's unfair, Robbo. He was played all over the shop. You know, his first season when he was absolutely world class, no question. He would have walked into any team on the planet. And all of a sudden, he's got the rug taken away from under him. Now he's playing on the left-hand side. Now he's playing deep. Now he's playing on the right. And he's all over the shop. So it's pretty hard when you're that good, and then all of a sudden the rug's pulled away. I think that's a bit hard.
Yeah, but there is an argument to that. So where's the argument to say that prior to the season starting, when he didn't play well for England in the Euros, where's the difference? Was the rug pulled under him playing for England?
Surely at club level. I mean,
they got to the final, but with Southgate, but he did not. He had a monk on.
Yeah.
If you're coaching Real Madrid, Craig, and you've got Jude Bellingham, who if you play him in the right spot, is going to get you goal. That's your job's to figure that out and get him in that spot. Surely.
Right. But you're saying that also about Vinny Jr., you're saying it about Mbappe, you're saying it about Jude Bellingham. Oh, we have to fit them into the side. I've got to make sure they're playing in the right position. That's the problem Ancelotti had, and that's exactly what Alonso's going to have.
Meanwhile, a word on Barcelona, of course, the defending champions. Quite a quiet summer for them overall. The future of Ter Stegan, of course, has been one that's been much discussed, especially with a new goalkeeper coming in. There was a meeting today, according to reports in Spain, between Flick and Ter Stegan, and Flick said, basically, you're not in my plans. You're third
Well,
choice.
the good thing is he can just turn to his right and ask Wojciech Szczesny and say, what's the best beach?
Well, yes, indeed.
Because he just got him off the beach to come and be the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And in some sense, I was going to say I feel a bit sorry for him. I shouldn't really. He's a highly paid sportsman. But he was the number one. He wasn't doing a lot wrong. He got that really bad injury when he came for that cross or whatever it was. And he stepped out for the operation and the rehab as the number one keeper at Barcelona.
Back as number 3.
And has walked back in and he's basically training with the reserves. I mean, I think most of it is... A lot of it is financially driven. Bearing in mind, there'll be a relationship between Hansi Flick and Ter Stegan. They're both from the same country. I don't think in any way, shape or form, I would imagine, that Hansi Flick has not just gone like that to him.
Well, Hansi Flick would have been the manager of Germany when he was the number 2, unless they had some sort of bust-up, which you seem to know about, Stevie.
You
told me earlier on.
Don't start with Stevie sources.
Okay,
my sources tell me.
Let's play a game, Robbo.
Yes.
If you're Manchester United, would you take Ter Stegen or Emi Martinez?
Well, I would take Ter Stegen. I don't like Martinez at all as a character, but people say he's the world's number 1.
Well, you've watched enough football.
Yeah, I don't like his style. If I was a coach, I don't like his style of goalkeeping, his antics and all that sort of stuff. I like calm goalkeepers.
You don't like the tomfoolery.
I don't like the tomfoolery and all the actions. Ter Stegen's a good goalkeeper. There's no question about that.
Right.
So I would take Ter Stegen. Yeah.
Would you put up with the tomfoolery, Stephen?
I absolutely am with Robbo. I can't stand the guy.
No.
But I would take him over Ter Stegen.
You played with Brucey. He had a lot of tomfoolery in his Arsenal.
Yeah, but that's not when the ball was around him. That was when he was bored. Jumping on the goal posts and all kinds of stuff.
Is Onana out?
Onana, I've just put it out here for the moment. Would you agree as well, Ter Stegen?
I'm betwixt in between.
I did say Ter Stegen.
Sorry?
No, he said...
Martinez.
Did you?
Aye.
Oh, sorry.
No, I agree with Rob with all the... I can't stand all the tomfoolery.
Oh, sorry, I got carried away then thinking about Bruce.
I mean, Ter Stegen's coming off a really bad injury. And
yes.
So...
No need to go over it again. He wasn't listening.
I know, yeah.
I mean, further proof.
That's typical.
Yeah,
It's just a horrible little man.
Shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
You need to report him. He never listens.
Yeah, that's it. So, deciding vote, who have you got?
I'll go with, on goalkeeping, I'm just going to go with Martinez.
Okay.
What are you nodding your head at him for?
Ter Stegen as well.
Ter Stegen.
Ter Stegen as well.
So 3 votes for Ter Stegen.